Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to pick the books I want to read in February. If you are new to this channel, I always or often use a TBR game to pick my books I want to read for the month. I'll link down below the original video where I explain the game, but it's basically just a board game where I follow a trail and different spots are different prompts, and I combine it with these literary witches oracle cards. I love using this TBR game. This is not a very strict game or anything, and it doesn't really have any consequences on how well I do. It's just a fun way for me to pick the books I want to read. Usually I sort of see how I did last month and then decide how I will continue the game for the following month, but last month I didn't play the game and I thought, you know, the new year I'll just start afresh. So in February there's a couple of things happening. First of all, I did sign up to be a judge on the Booktube Prize again. As of now, I'm not sure if I will be picked as a judge, but it is likely that I will. So for February and March, I will have to read 6 books for that, but I don't know what they are, what they're going to be yet. I am also doing the TBR spin this year, so that's another book that will be picked later on. I have a separate stack of books for the TBR spin, which is right here. So one of those books I will read in February. And then I also decided to join in again with a classics book club on Discord for some Dutch people, where we read classics, not necessarily Dutch classics, but classics. I have been part of that book club before, but I didn't really participate last year just because of the books they picked for that year. But yeah, the February book is Maurice by Forster. That is a book that I've really wanted to read, so I'm trying to join in with that as well. So yeah, there's a couple of things already happening and some books I will be reading for that anyway. So we're gonna see how the rest of the TBR works and how I'm gonna fit all that together. So yeah, let's get into the rules. I decided to start back at the beginning again, just because last time I got a little way in, but I thought new year, we'll just start at the beginning. So yeah, I'm gonna do 8 rolls. Roll number 1 is 1, that is one of the cards, and this card is Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Roll number 2 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another one of the cards, and that is one of an eye. Roll number 3. That is 2. 1, 2, and that is a prompt card with this little sign on it, which means I have to do the reverse or the opposite from what's on the card. So the prompt is a book with hands on the cover. So I guess that means feet on the cover. Roll number 4 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a book buying prompt. That is beloved author. Roll number 5 is 2. 1, 2, another card, and that is a cauldron. Roll number 6 is 2. 1, 2, that's another regular prompt. And that is a book that's older than me. Roll number 7 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another prompt. That is a book by an Arab author. And then the last roll is 2, 1, 2, which is a heart, which is basically a free pick or any book I would love to read. Okay, so card number 1 was this one, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and the little booklet says about it. It always starts with like 3 words, and those are oppression, what frees you, and the systems at work. And then it says, Charlotte Perkins Gilman is best known for The Yellow Wallpaper, a story inspired by the disastrous sexist vesture prescribed for her postpartum depression. In her day, Gilman was also famous as a social critic, giving popular lectures on economic and social reform and for her unconventional life choices. Her utopian novels and non-fiction are worth revisiting for their visions of a cooperative society and the place of gender roles in economics. And I think especially those first 3 words, oppression, what frees you, and the system at work, I think they work really well for the February book for the Book Naturalist Book Club, which I'm trying to read a few books from this year, and that is Black Faces, White Spaces, Reimagining the Relationships of African Americans to the Great Outdoors. And it says on that, I'm just looking on my phone on Storygraph, bringing the fields of environmental history, cultural studies, critical race studies, and geography. Finney argues that the legacies of slavery, Jim Crow, and racial violence have shaped cultural understandings of the great outdoors and determined who should and can have access to natural spaces. Yeah, I feel like that is a good fit with this particular card. Then the second card was this eye card, and these cards with just images on them but not people, they just have these 3 words, and the 3 words for eye is seeking answers, seeing clearly, and paying attention. And now I felt like this book, World of Wonders, by Amy Netsukumatatil. This is an essay collection about the wonders of the world, and maybe like paying attention to more of the details that people may miss. And I believe it is also about like connecting things you find in nature to your personal life or to the world as a whole around us. So yeah, I've picked that one for I. Then the third prompt was a book with feet on the cover. Now I made the prompt a book with hands on the cover because I noticed I had like 6 or 7 books with hands on the cover. But then I landed on the opposite space, so I have to do the opposite. And I figured feet would be the opposite of hands. And there aren't as many books with feet on the cover. But I did find one. I don't have a physical copy, but I have an ebook version of it. And that is Heerlijk Monster by Fleur Pierets. She is a Belgian author. I can't remember exactly the plot, but I believe that she was inspired by the book Carol by Patricia Highsmith, and the characters in this book sort of follow the same road trip that Carol and her lover were taking in the book Carol. I'm assuming it's also going to be a queer book. I know Fleur Pierets is a queer author. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that one. Then prompt number 4 was to buy a book by a beloved author. I'm obviously also doing book buying prompts in this game. So buying a beloved author will be obviously a pretty easy prompt. I have a few things in mind, but like I said, I'm also doing the Bookshare prize, so there might also some books I have to purchase for that. I always try to use the library as much as I can for those, but they don't always have them available. So yeah, if there's an author on there I've loved before, I could kind of for that as well. But otherwise I'm sure I'm gonna have no trouble finding a book I want to read. Now, my fifth draw got me on another card, and that was the cauldron. And my booklet says about cauldron, creativity, the rich broth, and surprising yourself. And I decided to go with this book, They're Going to Love You by Meg Howrey, because this is a book where a young woman visits her dad and his boyfriend partner in New York, and they are both dancers. So I feel like it has that creativity, and I also feel like New York could be seen as a rich broth of culture, people, whatever. Obviously you have to bend these words a little bit to make it fit your books. But yeah, I felt like this really fitted that card. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this book, but everyone who has read it seems to really love it. So yeah, that's another book I want to read. Then the sixth prompt was a book older than me. I was born in 1985 for full disclosure. And I planned to read Maurice for this one by Forster. That is the Classics Book Club pick for this month, and it was published, I believe, somewhere in the 1970s. It was published after Forster's death, and he wrote it in, like, I don't know, way earlier, like 1910s, 1920s. But because it is a very obviously queer book, he wasn't able to publish it when he was still alive. So yeah, that is the book I'll be reading for a book older than me. Then book number 7 was a book by an Arab author, and I didn't have a lot of pickings on myself for that one. In fact, I only had the one, and that is Blood Feast, the complete short stories of Malika Moustadraf. And she is a Moroccan author, and it says about her, a feminist icon in contemporary Moroccan literature. Malika Moustadraf is celebrated for her stark interrogation of gender and sexuality in North Africa. So yeah, that sounds really, really brilliant. And then the last roll got me on a free pick square, and this is exactly why I do TBR games, because I'm terrible at just picking what I want to read. I need to have some parameters. So what I will do is I will wait and see what my TBR spin is going to be. I will wait and see for the BookTube prize books, and I'm hoping at least one of those books will spark some excitement within me, and I can count for that. Otherwise, I also have some reservations from the library that could be coming in the next month. So yeah, I'm sure I will find a book that, you know, I could count as a free pick. But strangely enough, it is one of my least favorite places to land on, because yeah, I like it better when I have some boundaries on what I can pick. So yeah, these are the books I actually have physical copies of, and I have an ebook, I have some audiobooks, and I think all in all I picked a pretty fun TBR again. Oh, I almost forgot, I always do a card for you to participate. So I pick one of the literary oracle cards, literary witches oracle cards, and then you can read a book for that, and then you let me know. If no one reads a book for it, then I will move a space backwards next month. But if people do read a book, I will move a space forward for everyone who has read a book for that prompt. Okay, I've got my stack here, and the card is Joy Harjo. So I'll show you the card to see if there's anything on the card in itself that inspires you. And then I will read the booklet. Joy Harjo. It says, Joy Harjo, plunging in, making decisions and fear. Harjo, a common Mvskoke, in brackets Creek Nation name, means so brave she's crazy. Joy Harjo courageously survived an oppressive childhood, teenage pregnancy and domestic abuse before becoming a spiritually charged poet of wild natural imagery and urgent social activism, as well as an award-winning saxophone player and singer. So yeah, I think there's a lot in there that you could use to pick a book to read. And so yeah, please let me know if you do. I think that is really it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments or thoughts you have down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.